thank you so much for coming. Great, thank you. Give it up for Allie. Okay, so I think everybody has met us, but I'm Shelby. There's Pete back over here with his hand up, and Tom, our videographer, is probably on the back of the boat. So if you guys need anything, and Allie's not around and one of us are, just grab us and we'll make sure we take care of you. You have a program that we gave you when you get on board. It shows the order of the placement. Generally, we would place the largest reefs first, followed by the order, followed by the smallest one. There is a little deviation. I just want to tell you that so you know that I'm not illiterate. I do know the alphabet, but we wanted to make sure that the airbuckers were together. So we have a pallet or a nautilus to me that'll be going over, and then an Aquarius, and then we'll do a nautilus again. The rest of them will be Aquarius reefs that go in. So you guys, there are tribute reefs inside of the cabin. They have a pair of scissors on the top of them. There's 2 buckets of flowers in there. Please decorate a tribute reef on the way out to the reef site. We're going to use it at the end of the service today. And you can store them inside too so the wind doesn't catch all the flowers and pull them out. When we get on site, you're going to see our placement boat, which is the Naomi Brook. Its captain is Ronnie Black, and it's also going to have our placement team on there, Robbie Duke and Bob Kernan, and they're going to be placing the reefs for us today. Once the reefs are placed, we will then do individual family dedications. So I'm going to call families in the same order of the program, and you'll come to the bow of what I like to call the front of the boat, and you'll have an opportunity to say your final goodbyes. And then when you do, toss over your tribute reef, and that'll let us know that we can call the next family to come up for their dedication. After everybody has done that, we as Eternal Reefs will dedicate the site to everybody being memorialized today. We'll then circle the reef site and head back to the dock. Okay, you guys have any questions for me? Yay! All right, you can do come and get me. Thanks so much for being here.
So many nights I just dream of the ocean. God, I wish I was so.
guys, let me get y'all's bearings all around here. I know some of you are from out of town, so we want to make sure that you know where you are out here on the water, right? A little turn around. We are going west. That means to our port side of the boat. Where's port side? Port is, there you go, port left. Yeah, we're gonna learn that, guys, because we're on the boat, right? We gotta talk boat talk. Port and left both have 4 letters. That's how you remember that. To the left. Over there, that's Santa Rosa Island. This is a little barrier island over here where Pensacola Beach is. We just left that right here behind us. And it's about a 40-mile long little skinny barrier island, Gulf of Mexico, just on the other side there. We got about 10 miles to go to get to the pass to the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where we're going. We're going to head out and go around the island into the Gulf. But if you look over here where the condos end, and there's that last pavilion area, that's the end of the public beach area of Pensacola Beach. All this down here is all part of Gulf Islands National Seashore. Some of you might have visited that before. You can drive all the way through, stop at the little guard check, get your park pass, and drive to the end of the island. There's lots of secluded beaches down there. There's a campground, and at the end, which we're going to pass here in about 30 minutes or so, we're going to get to the end there and see the old Civil War fort, and that is Fort Pickens, right? That's at the end of the island, and you can explore that if you go by land. You can get up there and explore see the cannons, walk on the ramparts, touch all of that old stuff, go into the dungeons and the tunnels, where we did have a guest of honor there once before by the name, who might know who that was? The famous Apache warrior, Geronimo. There you go, yeah. He was signing autographs in the dungeons once upon a time. All right, so we're gonna head down there. I'll point out to you once we get down there. And just so that is going to be at the end of the island to the left, and then to the right over there, you kind of see those buildings at about our 1 o'clock. That's all the Navy base. So NAS Naval Air Station. You got the Coast Guard and the Navy base down there, the lighthouse. So we're going to get a little bit closer. I'll tell you some more about that. But over here to the right or the starboard side of the boat. So you get a star if you get that right.
We actually have a show tomorrow morning.
Over there, this is part of the mainland. This is Gulf Breeze, where all the poor people live over here.
Yeah, there's a ton of Blue Angels license plates.
Lots of great real estate over there. This is actually part of the mainland, but it's the peninsula. So Pensacola Bay, which is what we're in right now, goes all the way up to the north and around the corner up towards I-10. You'll also start to see lots of buildings around the corner. That's downtown Pensacola. So you'll see that, the big 3-mile bridge, all of downtown, which is super fun. Lots of restaurants, bars, boutiques, breweries, live music, fun stuff down there as well to explore. So that's about it. We're going to keep on cruising, guys. Keep your eyes peeled for dolphins, though. We never know where they're going to be. We're not going to really stop and hang out with them because we've got better things to do out here. But sometimes they like to come along for a ride, come check us out. So just look out for those fins, all right? Also, sea turtles, you might see those hanging out on top of the water. Look for their heads sticking up. They kind of look like my hands, all right, sticking up out of the water like that. They're really skittish, though. Yeah, look for rays. All kind of be like out here, all right, guys? If y'all see anything, holler and point.
Everything right.
So long that I have a video that is in YouTube. And my video, several of them jump out and they were so fast and running like this in the so almost everybody has to do them between over and everything. So long. I've been starting on that video.
Yeah, record anything you want. Nope. heard your little civics lesson about the area. Do you know about that big pile of sand?
Yes.
Everybody knows what that was
It's
for?
called Robertson Island, but we call it Sand Island.
Okay.
It's actually a man-made island from the dredging. So back along, you'll see the Lance Hut.
What it was originally for, during the Second World War, every entrance of every place was created a crash boat basin.
They did what?
A crash boat basin.
Oh.
So the Navy planes, in case they were damaged coming in, providing the submarines, they actually had a place they could crash because it would be less damage crashing the planes in the water and then recovering them. Every place around the whole United States, there's a crash boat basin. Right by every Navy base. In fact, there's crash boat bases where there used to be Navy bases, where every Tampa Bay on both sides, Fort Myers, everywhere along the way, there's a crash boat base. And that's what that was originally designed for.
Really? Because they made that when they, because that used to be it used to be the land would go, because they cut it out and dredged it, so they could have that pass through the intercoastal.
Right. Originally, that was in the 1940s.
Yeah.
That area where a big college, what they call the crash boat base.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
In every place in the United States has one. In every cut. They've got, some of them have two. There's actually one on both sides of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And then there's one in smaller cuts like, and they're mainly not here, but in other areas they're all developed around for deep water, great places to build marinas. So the Corps of Engineers spent crazy money back in the Second World War and built all that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's right by, that's why it's right by the Navy base.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they could leave a barge out there and recover airplanes.
That's right. Well, that worked out.
Yeah.
And they just made it into the intercoastal too, so that worked out.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why the intercoastal was built. To keep the barges running inland instead of out
there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't gotten travel.
Yeah.
So we travel all over. I've done about 200 trips back and forth.
Oh, wow.
When I deliver jobs. But, you know, along the way you learn bits and pieces.
Yeah, for sure. The history of everything. That's the coolest part, I think, of travel, especially something like that on the old waterways.
Yeah.
You get all that cool history.
And the weird thing is, I've tried to research it, and it kind of like it all disappeared after the war. Nobody I've not seen a book on it or anything else, but there's one, like in Anna Island, which is down by Tampa. I don't know if you know what it is. But the city was actually given the property for the city that was the airport, the Navy base. That's where the city sits. And the crash boat base was right behind it. Now it's built up with homes. On the opposite side, it's part of the Federal Park, where they have the Egmont Sea, which was actually gunnery station.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everywhere you go, Galveston is one. They're everywhere, all of them.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever heard of No Name Harbor?
I've heard of nothing.
Down in Miami? Crash boat base.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
I know you were giving it something to throw in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like learning all the little tidbits.
Yeah, I figured you did or you wouldn't be telling everybody.
That's right. I know, it's hard to get up there.
we were off the dock.
I called them.
Okay, Nikki. So,
Yeah.
I guess you should watch mine.
Huh?
You should watch the picture I like.
I was just watching that.
That's how she knows where we are. That's why I do it. We're not supposed to go. If we ever need to.
I called them and told them that we got off a little bit early. We were on the way out, and I would call them when we got off site.
Right. Got a buoy tender over there.
You know what that is?
Two black ones, a buoy tender.
A buoy tender?
Yeah, that's what they call them. One that put the sea buoys out and repair the pilings in the intercoastal. That's the construction company for the Coast Guard.
Oh, it's a construction.
That's the branch of the Coast Guard. It does all the buoys and all the markers,
Oh, okay.
the black boats. That's the construction company for them.
I got
White
it.
boats are the enforcement boats.
Wow.
We got a good video. We're on the East Coast of buoy tender on our YouTube. You don't see many of those over in Sarasota. It's out of Tampa.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Gotcha.
Once in a while, people ask me, I'll tell them to find pictures. But I don't have time.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody has to go out and do it. Keep burrowing up.
I hope my phone's working good for Bob.
All right, y'all, we're going to fetch a Navy Point down here to the right, the starboard side. You can see those Coast Guard cutters that are docked up right there. Big Coast Guard ships. They do a lot of great work out here. All the way down from that place on down past those towers is all the Navy base. And that last tower sticking up past those red and white water towers is Pensacola Lighthouse. And straight ahead of us is the pass to the Gulf. We got Sand Island up there, and we'll have the port right up at our 12 o'clock.
Yes.
It will? It just get rougher?
No, the color will change. I thought you meant color. The color will definitely change.
Because I remember when the kids were little, we had like a little dolphin tour, and they were like, when you get out of the Bay Area, wherever we were, there's like color.
Because it's deeper?
What?
I think it's the,
No, it's cleaner.
it's the content. Like, it's actually the salt and the color fibers. It's weird because they don't color it.
Yeah, that is. This is strange because I did a mission program in Brazil. They look like palm trees.
Right? Yeah.
Like salt water in the bay and
Right. Yes, eventually they don't.
right, guys, y'all go ahead and step up on the bow right there and look straight down. You gotta step up out of that white part. Go ahead and walk through. If you want to see those dolphins, I think they're swimming with us, surfing the boat right there. Yeah, you see them up there? Y'all go check it out. We call this surfing the boat because just like you would go surf or boogie board out in the ocean in the waves, they're doing the same thing. They're just coming along for a ride. There's at least 2 of them up there. Yeah, if you want to see, y'all can walk all the way up. It's safe. Y'all can go ahead and walk up. Walk the gangplank.
I was just telling the girl who runs the boat, there's a big pile of sand up here on the right. It's a crash boat basin. It's like a crash boat basin. You know what Reef World is in City Hall? There's a big crash boat basin there with one on the opposite side of Canyon. Okay. They were actually where Reef World City is. That's back in the Second World War. I wouldn't doubt that. And everywhere there's an injury, on both sides. On both sides. Planes fighting the submarines. They have a place to
They got one on the other side over here. That's something.
Right. Oh yeah. There's like 50 70-something tall. German U-boats. There's one right off the mouth of the Capt, like jetties, 50 feet long. But anyway, I didn't know, you know, the Sarasota, right where Willie goes down, right there, there's one cut in there. That can be passed. They're all over. No Name Harbor in Miami's one. Tell me the name of this one. This is the name too, but I don't know. Tell me the name of it.
They're from their east nations on that boat.
Yeah, that's the buoy tender. The black one's the buoy tender.
Yeah. Must be getting ready to go out.
Yeah, or just in there.
Or just transferring over to
a Monday runs about motor hour.
Yeah, that's true. Standard maintenance.
Yeah. I need to go plug this thing in as soon as we get offshore. I'm going to plug this thing in. Turn this off.
It's probably gonna.
All right, to our port side, we have Fort Pickens. So you can see the old fort with the red bricks. It was an old octagonal shape over here, and it is starting to crumble. You can still climb on top of it and explore all that. You'll see all the cannons. And actually, if you explore around the edge of the island, around the front, there's cannons and big guns that are buried in the dunes that you can still see. That were all around the fort here. And these houses, these white houses, were old barracks. They are now the Welcome Center and the Park Rangers' houses. So they actually get to live here if you're a park ranger. Like I said, this was an old Civil War fort. They started building in 1803. It took them about 30 years to finish building it. And it was really important in the war. It was actually the only Union-held fort in the entire South during the whole Civil War. The Union Army held this fort here, which was quite the feat because there were two other forts and a battery right here around the bay. One across the bay, which was Fort McRae, and then one on our starboard side on the Navy base, Fort Barrancas, which you can kind of see if you're on the upper deck right through those trees there. Fort Barrancas. Those were all Confederate forts, so they had some big cannon battles out here that helped change the course of the Civil War. But there have been battles raging here through the centuries, y'all. The history of Port of Pensacola and Pensacola Bay dates back all the way to 1559, when Tristan de Luna, one of the Spanish conquistadors, first came here. And that was before St. Augustine even, that was settled. That was the first continuous running settlement in North America. But Port of Pensacola, they settled here first. Well, they tried to. They only lasted a couple of years because they didn't know about hurricanes back then. So they got wiped out by a hurricane pretty quickly. And they only lasted about 2 years. But ever since then, ships have been coming in from all around the world into this port here.
Battery pack and gimbal.
starboard side, you can see a good view of the lighthouse now. Pensacola Lighthouse. It's the tallest lighthouse in Florida. 177 steps of a winding staircase to the top. No elevators. All right, but you can explore that. You can get onto base, take a tour of the base, go up the lighthouse, tour the Naval Aviation Museum, which is really cool. You can see and get into all those old planes. And that's a great spot to watch the Blue Angels practice. So that is home of the Blue Angels, the Navy's flight exhibition group. This is home of the Blue Angels. And they'll be practicing tomorrow. They just came back into town last night. They'll have their practice out here with the lighthouse being show center tomorrow morning at about 10:30. So we're going on a trip to bring the boat down here, hang out in front of the lighthouse and watch the Blue Angels practice. But if you'll be here and you want to see that, you don't want to come on the boat, you can drive down here to Fort Pickens or go on the Navy base and check that out as well. It's a really cool show. All right, and over to our port side, we have to pass to the Gulf of Mexico, y'all. So welcome to the Gulf of Mexico. Next stop, Cuba.
All right, Nikki, I'm closing this one out. Call me and let me know when the other one's ready to go.